But this is what I have to say. Let us forget fights and grudges and concentrate. Come, let us sit and try to relate. Because now, more ever, we must show discipline, tolerance, and prudence to build a strong and better nation. I say that is the main foundation. So come, let us work hand in hand, because this is our land. Come, my brother, come, my sister, and let us build a nation together. Oh, yeah, yeah. Oh,
Come, my brother, come, my sister, and let us build a nation together. A nation that we all can feel proud of. And I believe our task is a very simple one: to leave this place better than we met it. Improve it so your children and children can feel proud of us, to say, yes, we improve what we met, and they now must improve what we left for them. So that's very important. Grenada belongs to all of us, wherever you are at this point in time. Maybe you're out there in the diaspora, maybe you're here at home, but Grenada belongs to all of us. I want to start off by encouraging you to share the program, particularly those on social media, on Facebook and on YouTube. I realize that folks will be listening to the program and not sharing the program. That's a problem. I want to encourage you, when you share the program, it gives your friends, your colleagues on your page the opportunity to listen in, to be a part of the audience, because your friends may not be my friend or friends. So I want to encourage you to share the program on your page. I realize we have not had that sharing taking place like we used to on Vision Information Services on that Facebook platform, that particular page. So I want to encourage you to share it so more people will discover the program and discover the page, Grenada Transformation Agenda. That is important, very, very important, that you share the program. I want to start off this morning by saying there are some leaders who seem to be tasked with that responsibility to spread misinformation or to create confusion in the minds of our people. And I want to give you an example of that this morning, because there are a lot of people who profess to be X or Y, and they have followers. Don't fool yourself. They're pastors, they're community leaders, and they have people who look up to them, who follow what they post and what they have to say. So here you have Pastor Devon Roche. You know, he was involved with the NNP. In fact, I think he ran for the NNP in a particular election. So we know his political leanings. That's something that is easy to decipher, to understand. So he went on Facebook and he posted, I highly commend the waiver of fees for NULO and TAMCC, something I have always wanted to see. Well done. Education is empowerment. But do not be fooled by that particular post. So that's the main post. So he made that post. And then you had a number of NNP surrogates who came under that post and say, no, it's not free, right? It's not free. The yellow circulated part, in other words, they start to post stuff now to say, well, TAMCC, you still have to pay for, let me get it here. So for example, they went on to say, well, TAMCC is something where the tuition, right? The tuition is free, but you still have to pay registration and administration fee of $150, right? And you still have to pay for your t-shirt, $50, or whatever the price of the t-shirt, 50 or 40 or 45, whatever. So you have those NNP now saying it is not free, right? Because that is the interpretation they got. It is free, but it's tuition, the tuition aspect of TAMCC or NULO or the primary school, that's free. The government announced free tuition. And that was the main stumbling block for a lot of parents and a lot of young people who wanted to attend TAMCC or NULO or secondary school and so on, because you have to find $810 tuition fee. So the government is absorbing that cost. But the NNP, what they're out there saying, well, and in fact, they got the cue from a number of those MPs on the NNP side in the parliament on Friday, where they went as far as to say, yes, free tuition, but the $30 you're paying for registration should also be free. The administrative or IT support that costs $150 at TAMCC, that should also be free. At the primary school level, not the primary school, sorry, at the NULO level, the t-shirts that they have to get should also be free. And then they start going down and down and down to detail, aspects of this by saying, well, okay, the tuition fee at NULO is $250 every term, right? So over a 1 year period, it's $750. Then they say to get a t-shirt, it's about what? How much? It's about $45 or so, saying that should also be free, the polo t-shirt. That is what they're actually saying, That is how ungrateful some of these people are. And I'm telling you, and I'm saying this with no apology, you have certain leaders who will go on social media and make certain statements, and then you go deeper, and you see where Devon Roche wrote, well, P.D. Francis is a known supporter of that particular party. So Devon Roche then say, well, that's interesting in terms of the cost that, the $30, the $40, whatever, the little fee that one has to pay. He said, I assume it was free as announced. If you're paying an administrative fee, it's not free. I will await an explanation, right? It's probably reduced fees, but not free. And then the Honorable Claudette Joseph then say, it's tuition. Tuition is free. And that is what the government announced. Free tuition. So the NNP is out there making people believe that everything is free. And that is what they want. That's the line that they are pushing in the parliament, on their programs. They give their supporters this false idea that everything is free and it must be free. It has to be free. That's the same thing that occurred when the NDC introduced the free textbook program, and parents were required to pay $25 administrative fee because you needed people to be there administering the program. So you need to pay that $25 administrative fee. And the NNP then tell their supporters, well, it's not free textbook because you're paying $25 for it. That is the level of reasoning from the NNP, you know. That's the level of reasoning. And it scares me because you have leaders who know better and who should be setting a better example. Don't give people the idea that everything is free. The government announced free tuition, and it is very specific. So at TAMCC, the tuition there, the cost of tuition is $810. That is what a parent had to find to send that child to TAMCC. $810. At NULO, the parent had to find $750 for tuition to send that child to NULO to pursue plumbing, electrical engineering, masonry, carpentry, masonry, carpentry, sewing, you know, the different clothing and textile or whatever, the different subject areas. So it's the tuition at the secondary school. A parent had to pay $100 and something or $200 and something. It depends on what secondary school. $200 and something as tuition, right? At the primary school level, a similar thing, maybe one something. At the pre-primary school level, a similar thing. The government announced free tuition support. And that is very important. So the NNPs out there misleading their supporters and misleading the general public, giving them this wrong idea. But the NNP is so accustomed to freeness, everything free. And the minute time you start giving everything free and they know they don't have to work for it or they don't have to pay a little thing towards it, then they squander it. It is clear the free textbook program, it was free textbook, but the administrative cost, $25 to administer the program, it's $25. And the NNP had a problem with that. But that is what we have to deal with here in Grenada. And maybe I could look for that that piece that the minister did on that.
Remember, the key to success is working hard. For our country, we must have regard. Forget all your differences, let we start to build. And onward to progress we surely will. Because now, more than ever, we must show discipline, tolerance, and production to build a strong and better nation. I say that is the main foundation. So come, let us work hand in hand, because this is our land. Come, my brother, come, my sister, and let us build a nation together.
Right, so let me see if I get that piece to play it for you because I believe in facts. I believe in putting the facts on the table. So Canadian people, home and abroad, can appreciate it because you see the NNP is out there to mislead the general public. So let me play this for you where the minister, the Honorable David Andrew, spoke about Grenadian history back in our schools, and he also mentioned about tuition support.
Carriacou Petit Martinique, 3 primary schools are taking the CPEA exams completely electronically. It's a declaration of intent as to where we are heading. We talk technology, we talk digitization, we talk transformation, but this administration is not prepared just to talk. We are prepared to do the work as well. And so 3 primary schools are off in that direction. We tried not to make much noise about it, Madam President, because we didn't want to attract too much media attention before they finish the exam in the next hour and some. We didn't want the media making them a little more nervous than they needed to be made with all the cameras getting there. How was the first day with e-testing? So there's 1 school in Carriacou and 2 on the mainland. They were piloted, let me assure you. There was a pre-test prior, and then there was serious layers of consultation with parents, the education community, teachers, the students themselves. And there were about 5 schools that initially did the pre-test. And after the consultations, a couple of those schools felt they were not quite ready yet. There were some pockets of objection. We said, all right, well, go right ahead and do it in the traditional way. But those students, their teachers, their parents, the school community felt comfortable that they were able to go the exam and do it electronically. And so we celebrate with them. And this Ministry of Education looks forward to further rollout next year, God's willing, for electronic testing. Let me say to you, we do have electronic testing that started since 2017 at the secondary level for the paper 1s, the multiple choice, in several of the areas, but never before has it been done for the primary schools. And so this is very, very historic, and I want to commend my staff at the Ministry of Education, the examinations department. They work tirelessly. During this period, they get no rest till CSEC examination is done. They are down at the ministry probably well before 5 a.m. in the morning to deliver the scripts, and they're there till late in the afternoon to make sure every bit comes back in. And so I want to put on record my profound thanks and appreciation to them while we have created such an historic moment for education in Grenada, Carriacou, and Petit Martinique. Madam President, I want to talk about another significant transformative occurrence. At the cabinet level, we have passed 2 very important documents. The TVET strategy, National TVET Policy rather, and the TVET strategy, which is a mapping for how we are going to implement skills across Grenada. Now, this was done after the TVET strategy, the TVET policy, was a document that was funded by UNESCO, World Bank, and long been prepared after several rounds of consultation, Madam President, with key stakeholders, the National Training Agency, GNAB, Workers' Federation, several other agencies, TAMCC, NULO. They identified the gaps in our skills operation with a view to addressing those gaps and to making skills education more sustainable and applicable to our needs. And so the second document is our rendering of a strategy, a mapping to implement and to fill those gaps and implement skills across the nation, both for students in school and for persons outside of school. And so a comprehensive 30-something page document was presented to the cabinet, which has received preliminary approval for implementation across Grenada. And it includes several key transforming elements, one of which is the reintroduction of skills in all primary schools. Madam President, I am happy to announce that next Tuesday, God's willing, should I be spared, 9th of May, we will see the official launch of the reintroduction of skills at the level of sensitization in all our primary schools across Grenada, Carriacou, and Petite Martinique. We have had the consultations with all of the schools, the teachers, the persons in the technical areas, and we are quite happy to have it reintroduced. Now, there were some elements of it happening, but not all schools were involved, only some elements. And so we are very happy to have it reintroduced that way, and we look forward to, and that's just part of it. That skills mapping has several other elements that will be implemented incrementally over the next several years. So in that plan, I can tell you, there are plans to upgrade some of our secondary schools that have strong grounding in skills, to upgrade them to be school-based centers of excellence in particular areas. So there might be 6 or so of those schools earmarked for that. There are plans to use some of these centers of excellence, and we have some structures already existing, some not being fully utilized or exploited, and so we are going to use those. Some community centers, one example is the National Training Institute in, I'm not sure I can say the right word, in Snell Hall, which the former administration had going. But even that institution, we are aware a lot more can be done, and we are prepared to upgrade several of those institutions to make them indeed centers of excellence for various elements of skill. That's part of the plan. And to continue sixth form in some schools, the centers of excellence, and to use them both for persons in school and out of school. And there are several other things. But most importantly, tomorrow, on Tuesday 9th, we are going to launch that reintroduction in primary school. So I pass on that one. I can also say to you that part of that TVET strategy seeks to make investment in our tertiary level institutions, NULO, TAMCC, to increase the capacity to house students. Because we are putting things in place to do 2 things. One, to legislate that education be made mandatory till age 18. Madam President, this is also going to be transformative. When I walk through the communities, we meet several youngsters, 16, 17, 18, 19, and they say to you, I want to work. And my next question, what's your skill set? What's your area of skill? What's your area of expertise? And 9 out of 10 times they tell me, well, anything. I could do anything. And I say to them, that's my problem. Because when my car breaks down, I don't want somebody who can do anything. I need an auto mechanic. I say, when I have an electrical problem at my house, I don't want somebody who can do anything. I need an electrician. And when there's a broken main in the walls that see water running through my home or somewhere, I don't need somebody who can do anything. I need a plumber. And so we are determined to close that gap by providing an additional 2 years of opportunity for young persons to get skilled. Rather than leaving school at 16, 15, turning 16, 16, and going on the Berlin and saying, I want to work, and creating further problem for programs like the Imani program, we are going to give them these additional 2 years, mandatorily. That's currently being looked into, to give them that opportunity to get further skill to address many of the skills gaps. That's in the skills strategy that we have too. And to make that easier, we are already doing the preparatory work to make sure that TAMCC tuition fees are no longer something that our students and their parents will have to find come September 2022. Give some people up for that. 2023, yeah. So while we're going to mandate it, we are going to say it becomes easier for you to access it. SDG 4, ready access, free access to education. And we want to make sure that happens. So my staff, they're working currently to do all the behind-the-scene numerical figures and calculations with TAMCC, setting up a framework to ensure that who registers and who duly gets into coming out of secondary school, that we have a mechanism to do the transfer of payments and all that. I'm excited, Madam President, of the transformation that these transforming things are going to have on our education system.
Right. So you heard there, it's the tuition fee, right? Free tuition, making access, so free access to schools. So you're getting free access so you can go to school, but free tuition support, free tuition. And that is the point I really wanted to bring home because the minister said it himself. Free tuition at Nulo and at Tamsisi. Free access. So not because you have to pay registration of $30 or buy 4 t-shirts or 3 t-shirts at $45 a one, it means that, it's not free. Come on, I mean, there are leaders who are causing a lot of people to go down a rat hole, if you ask me. So here you have a pastor posting stuff and giving the impression that, look, did government announce it's free education for all, free, and you don't have to pay anything? No, the government did not announce that, right? But the pastor is giving the impression that, look, it's free. And if you have to pay $30 to register to get into the college, then it's no longer free. The government never announced that it is free. The government announced free tuition, the tuition fee. That fee, that $810 at TAMCC, or that $750 at Nulo, or that $200 and something at the secondary school level. And look, if you speak to the parents, for example, I remember a parent came up to me and say she has 2 children to go to TAMCC. She said, if it was not for the government's free tuition for TAMCC, she had to find $1,620, $1,620 for her 2 children to go to TAMCC. Just think about it, the savings and what that same money could do for that parent in terms of school shoes, bag, jerseys, right? And other stuff like that, paying the transport to and from school. So sometimes you have to sit and rationalize the whole thing. Here you have a pastor. Here you have NNP surrogates under that particular post coming down, right? Because they are very tricky. So they give you the impression that they're commending the government, they're applauding the government for it. And then on the same vein, they're criticizing the government to say you should make everything free. So no administrative costs, right? The $30, they should not be paying the $30 at TAMCC. Well, if the government did not introduce the free tuition support, they would be paying not just the $30 for registration and not just the $150 for the IT support, because these days everything is online. So you need somebody, you need a team of people who can send the assignments, send everything to you online, maintain that online platform for the college. So you have to pay $150. So not only that, they had to pay the $810. And then they still had to buy their jersey, right? They 1 or 2 jerseys. But the $810, the government is absorbing that cost. You don't think that's a good thing? That's a great thing? So why major in minors? Why major in minor? Right? I'm asking the question. So that is the level of reasoning that is coming from the NNP camp. And that is the same thing they did when the NDC introduced the free textbook program, where they say to the people, it's not free because you have to pay $25 administrative cost for the books. So it's not free. It's not free textbook. But a parent had to spend $900, $1,000, and in some cases, $1,200 to get the books. You know what the NNP did? They stopped purchasing new books for the program. That is what the NNP did. So they scaled down the program, they watered down the program because their friends were running the bookstores. A particular bookstore who knew what books would be used in all the schools before all the other bookstores. Remember the controversy? Where they were able to order in advance the books that were to be used in the schools. They knew in advance, so they ordered the books way in advance, and everybody were actually going there to purchase their books. So the other bookstores, they were not aware. They did not get the early notification, so they ordered their books late. That is what was taking place, you know. They scaled under the NNP administration during that time. They scaled down that program. They watered it down. But the NNP never appreciates education. They never see education as important. And that is why their surrogates, their supporters, and I'm talking about leaders, you know, leaders, community leaders, pastors who support the NNP, they're out there still spreading misinformation. And in some instances, they try to confuse the minds of our people. How can anybody attend a church with such a person preaching? How can anybody believe that person, whatever he or she has to say? When you should be a better example to say to your followers, to say to the people who listen to you, right? It's a good thing to go to school. It's a good thing to get an education. It's a very good thing. You boast of being, you know, master's degree qualified, right? As an economist, right? What's about the other people? It's a good thing to get an education. And the government is doing a lot to make sure that you go to school and to make sure that you get an education. The government not only remove the tuition cost, but they're giving school uniform and school supplies to students so that they can attend school. So we have to be real, you know. Don't expect everything to be free. That's a dangerous, dangerous precedence that you're setting for your supporters and for the people who are following you. The NNP needs to break away from that mindset where everything needs to be free. I listened to a member of parliament on the opposition side. In fact, I said to a friend she should be in jail for that particular, you know, program that they were getting hundreds of thousands of dollars for. And really and truly, you know, what really were they doing? But you heard in, well, government has free tuition, so parents don't have to pay that money, but they still have to pay the $30 registration. The government should also make that free, absorb that cost. And she went on to say, well, they have to pay $150 for IT support and administrative support and so on, a cost. They should make that also free. She said, while you're at it, Let's look at Nulo, the jerseys. That should also be free. Government should pay for that. But I am saying, well, then ask the government to pay for everything. Pay for the bus to take them from home to school and back. The government should pay for the school bag too. And the books and the equipment or anything that they have to use towards any course or any subject area. The government should buy their shoes too and buy their lunch and their break. It's ridiculous. But you see, the NDC is doing such a remarkable job that people get in this impression that everything needs to be free because the NNP was in power for 23 years and a half. They refused to pay public officers who retired their pension and their gratuity. And they made the Grenadian people believe that if they paid these people their gratuity and their pension, the economy will collapse and every Grenadian would bite the dust. The NDC came into power and within months, they were able to pay the retired teachers and public officers, police officers, nurses, $75.1 million. Their retroactive pension and gratuity. Lest we forget that, you know. So the NNP is getting this whole mindset that we print in money, we have money. You understand the point? Yeah. Don't underestimate that, you know. That is what they're actually doing. They're giving people the impression that we have oil and gas and we print in money. Then they saw the NDC paid the doc salaries that the NNP took from the salaries of hardworking teachers, $1.2 million. So they're giving their supporters the idea that NDC has money and they could give you everything free. Then they saw the increase for public officers, teachers, police officers, and so on. The 13% increase. So there is this whole belief that we print in money, we have a lot of money. In fact, the same member of parliament who on Friday bumping her gum said, well, she's certain because she knows the Citizenship by Investment program brought in way more money than expected or than projected. She went on to make reference to the $7 million that must be allocated for the 50th year of our independence. She said, out of that, take $2 million and put it towards Nulo, TAMCC, so no one will pay for anything. But when the NNP, they did not have the foresight, they did not have the vision to remove the tuition cost or the tuition fee from TAMCC, from Nulo, and from the different schools. They never had that vision. No. They never had the vision to introduce grade in our schools. They never had the vision to introduce the technical and vocational education in the primary and secondary schools. They never had the vision to do it. The NNP is good at criticizing. The NNP is good at misinforming the public. But it scares me because you have leaders, church leaders, you have community leaders who should know better, whose reasoning should be way above some of the ordinary people. Because as a church leader, you should be endowed with wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. You should have that in you. That's a blessing that comes from God. So when you speak, we should be able to learn from you. But to say, well, if people or if students have to pay $30 registration, then it's not free. And if they have to pay $150 for the internet or ICT support at the college, then it's not free. But $810 tuition, that's free. So you're discouraging people, and not only that, you're actually trying to water down this major achievement of the NDC administration, because the NNP did not have the vision to do such a thing. Go and speak to a parent who children attending TAMCC and the savings that they've realized by the free tuition supplement. That's $1,620. That's money that they had to find. They no longer have to find that money. Government is paying for that. They're absorbing that cost. But it's ungratefulness, you know. It sickens me to the core that you have NNP supporters out there who actually do not appreciate what the government has done with the free tuition support. So to water down, to try to steal the thunder, right, and the commendation from the government, you then go to say, well, okay, the free tuition support, that's $810, but parents still have to pay $30 to register the child to go to TAMCC. It's dangerous, to say the least. Dangerous. But that is the Grenada that we found. Those NNP supporters. Look, a lot of these people, they have been brainwashed or brain dead or just can't reason. They're illogical, and it's tough. Their mind is whap. It's dangerous. So here we are fighting to transform our country, to develop our country holistically, and you have those forces who will major in minor things, who will, instead of highlighting this major achievement of free tuition for TAMCC, for NULO, for secondary, for primary, for pre-primary, instead of highlighting that, they then will focus on the $30 the students have to pay to register to go into the classroom or to go into college or to be administered, to be accepted in the college. That is what we are dealing with in Grenada. And these people, they have popular platforms. They have people looking up to them, people who following them. But that is what we have to deal with on a daily basis. They came out and they spread lies about this LGBTQ teaching, and where they made the false claim that government wants to change the curriculum or introduce this teaching in the schools. Good morning.
Good morning.
Hey, good morning. How you doing?
They are just trying to tell you when you go all over and ask for haircut, you get it. It's a similar haircut the government giving the parents today, and they should appreciate it, because they're taking out a whole $800. You can't find a little rest to buy a little socks and pay a little school, the bus fare for your school, for the school children, for your own children. Kit Mitchell and them is a wicked man. he wants haircut, haircut good. But it's the parents getting their little haircut now. All of them going around and saying, you say you're free, so you don't have to pay nothing. Let us send them in the school, dirty. Bye-bye.
All right. Well, look, I don't believe it's Keith Mitchell, but I think that there is a need for leadership from Keith Mitchell and those within that party to underscore, to highlight the importance of education and this major achievement of the government to help the parents. Because if you speak to parents who are serious about the education of their children, they are appreciative, they are extremely happy to know that they don't have to find that $810 to send a child to TAMCC. And some of them have 2 children going to TAMCC. And in some instances, 3. There are parents with 3 children attending TAMCC. And in some cases, you have 2 or 1. So if you speak to the parents, they will tell you how appreciative they are for this great help from government. Because the government not only absorbing the cost for tuition, but they did not abandon the school uniform and school supplies program. Parents still getting the $450 or the $250 for one child or the $300 for another. They're still getting that. And remember, it's from pre-primary, go all the way up to tertiary. So they're still getting that type of support. So look, I am urging our people, Grenadians, you need to be grateful. Ungratefulness is a dangerous thing, But you know what scares me the most? Come the next election, the people who are getting these assistance and support from the NDC administration and their NNP, they remain in NNP, That not causing them to change, I'm telling you, it's a pity I didn't ask my good partner Kim the Kim for extra 5 or 10 minutes. But we will continue that conversation tonight. I am saying to you that these same people, the folks and the gratuity and the NNP, they still remain in NNP. 1 or 2 of them might change, but they still remain in NNP. Those who got their doc salaries back and the NNP, they teaching, the public service, they still remain in NNP. A lot of them. 1 or 2 might change, They just got 13% increase on their salaries for the next 3 years. 4%, 5%. Some of them who are NNP, they still remain in NNP. The government doing so much in terms of the free tuition support and all the different things. That's not moving them. It's not moving them. Don't matter what the NDC does for the Grenadian people, those NNP supporters, they will forever remain NNP. 1 or 2 might change. Don't get me wrong. 2%, 3% might change. But generally speaking, those NNP supporters will remain NNP. And that is why it is important for the NDC to understand they need to focus on their supporters too, in a very direct and serious way, to make sure that their supporters are happy and that their supporters receive assistance from these different initiatives. It's important because you need your supporters when the election time comes around, because the NNP supporters, they're going to vote for NNP, even if they get all the benefits. Even if they get the bags, they get the books, even if they get tuition support, even if they get pension, gratuity, even if they get, material assistance, they honor the poor relief assistance, they get all of those things, the money and time and everything, they're still going out and support their party because they've always put party before country, the NNP. They've always done that. And that is why I am warning the NDC. Focus on your supporters. Focus on your supporters a little more. Focus on your supporters a little more and target those benefits, those programs, those initiatives to your supporters directly so that they can feel it, so that they can say, yes, I receive material assistance from my party and government. I receive the poor relief assistance from my party and government. I got a contract to do the debushing program for my party and government. I benefit from the tuition, the free tuition support. The school uniform and school supplies program. Yes, I benefited from that. Right? The WASH program. Yes, I benefited from that. And the other initiatives, the farm labor program. Let those NDC farmers say, yes, I benefited from that. Right? The other initiatives, the training and all those different things. Let them say that. You have to target them. The the CES program, for example, where a lot of those NNP dominated that program. That should never have happened or have happened. That should never take place. It should have been a different operation. And I hold that today, that position, where it should have been a 30-70 in terms of percentage. You make sure that 7 out of your people get the assistance and 3 from the other side. I hold that firmly. But it was just an open thing, and a lot of NNP where $15.1 million went, given out as grant. They don't have to pay it back. So it is so important that the NDC understand clearly that your supporters need to benefit directly. Some just okay, right? They don't want anything. But those who need, those who want, you need to make sure that they're impacted directly. That's important. Very, very important. So plant distribution, and it's at a reduced cost. Make sure that those farmers who are known supporters of the government and NDC, make sure that they get the opportunity to purchase the plants at the reduced cost. Training opportunity for fisher folks. You should know who are your supporters and make sure that they get the opportunity to receive the training. That's very important. We have to be able to connect government to party to benefit our supporters and to make sure that they're okay. Because that is exactly what the NNP administration was doing over the many years. They were able to connect the different things that government was distributing, the local work and opportunities and so on, to their party supporters, to the people who are supporting them. I'm telling you. So we have to start thinking in that light. We cannot usher in transformation or change just, instantly. It has to be matriculatively. It has to be over a period of time, because it will take time for that to really happen, the transformation, the change that we desire. So we have to level the playing field more or less, bring our people to that level, because you remember, our supporters were disadvantaged for the last 20-something years. Our supporters were not getting the contracts on the road to cut the bush. They might get a fortnight, 1 or 2 of them, but not a contract. Our supporters were not getting the contract to go into government to work for a period of time. Our supporters were not. Our supporters were not getting the material assistance when they apply. They had to apply 15 times. So they might give 1 or 2, but generally speaking, it's the NNP people who are benefiting from that program. Our supporters were not benefiting from the promotion within the Royal Grenadier Police Force for the many promotions that pass under the NNP. No, they were given the NNP supporters who are police officers, and even in the prison, same thing. Once they deem that you are a supporter of them, then you're able to get that promotion, not on the basis of merit or anything of that sort. So our people were disadvantaged. All the different programs, right? All the different programs that were rolled out under the NNP time, the family labor program, the this, the that. Our supporters were disadvantaged. They were not given a fair chance nowhere for 20-something years. So how then can we just roll out the transformation in such a way that it's a level playing field now? And it's merit, and it's that, and it's that. But our people have been disadvantaged for so many years. You have to bring them up to that level playing field with everybody else. Give them the support, give them the assistance required to bring them up to that level. You can't expect them now to just reach to the level when 3 promotions they never got, they never received. When they're supposed to be sergeant or inspector, they're now corporal. Right? And you're saying it's a level playing field now. We're doing it differently. It's a level. Everybody could thing and go up the rank. Well, they were supposed to get promoted 3 times before. They did not, because they were NDC. They kept them back. And that is the reasoning that we must have in going forward, because come the next election, the NNP supporters will go there and support their party. And they could get everything that you're giving them. Every single thing that you given, and they still go in and vote for their party. But you must ensure that the supporters of the NDC, that they're excited, fired up, and ready to go to support you and to vote for you because they benefited directly or indirectly. That they can say that my came to power and my life changed for the better. Because I remember vividly under the NNP, when there's a project, let's say BNTF or government, the people who were getting the contract were certainly NNP supporters, getting the special projects, getting the everything. You couldn't see an NDC person getting anything under them. No matter what. When that used to happen, that couldn't happen. So let us not pretend or play naive, or play self-righteous to say that everything now is balanced, right? And we have to do it based on merit, and we have ushering governance where we all are equals. No. Those NNP supporters will get all that you're given, and they will still go and vote for their party. They don't care about country. They're concerned about their party. And that's the fact. And you're seeing it right now before your very eyes. The government is doing so much for everybody. Right? And it reminds me of Uncle Tilly days, when Tillman Thomas came on stream and he said, look, let the institutions function. Let them be independent of. We're not going to, intervene, and you understand the point. Just do your work. And you can go on and on with that same thing. And what happened? Those NNP folks within those different departments and ministries, they were looking out for the NNP people, even under NDC time. And the NDC supporters were not feeling government or their party working in their best interest. And as a result, They stayed home. They did not go out and vote. And NDC lost all the seats. All from 11. They lost all 11. And NNP won all 15. It was not because NNP was the better party or NNP did anything extra. It was because NDC at the time forget their people, forget their supporters. So don't believe that your supporters don't want certain things from you, you know. You know that there is this idea that only when the NNP in power, the NNP supporters want certain things because the NNP supporters, they are poor and vulnerable and they're in need. And the NDC now, you have this mindset. NDC supporters, they have already, they're independent, they're okay, they don't want anything from you. You're joking. You're making a mistake. We have NDC supporters who are in need, who are in genuine need of assistance in different areas. So you have to make sure that you use government to reach these people with the benefits, with the assistance. Because you have to make sure that your supporters are extremely happy. Please, because right now, government is performing well. The NDC administration is performing well where the government is concerned. But can we say the same thing in terms of the marriage between government and party and our supporters? Have we done a poll to assess whether our supporters are pleased with what's taking place? We need to do that. It has to be scientific. Have we done that? In the different constituencies, have we identified our supporters and go back to them to find out whether or not they're happy with the performance of the government after 1 year, after 1 year and some months? Because where I see it, government is performing well. But when you go and speak to a party person or a foot soldier or a supporter of the NDC, they have something totally different to say now. They have something totally different to say to you. So there is this disconnect. And that's a similar feel from 2008 to 2013. You have to look for your people directly. If a position comes up within the ministry, don't try to play Mr. Fair and Miss Fair and Miss Nice and his merit and his this and his that. That will cause you to lose a whole government. You have to look for your people first and foremost. And that is why during the carnival time, when I heard about this one and that one being a part of this carnival committee, this Queen show and this that show, I call for the head. I call for the head. Those NNP folks that call for the head, who resign and who this and who that. Let them talk. So what? You look for your people. We have competent people who could do the work. Give our people the work and the opportunity too. We have to level the playing field, you know. You know, they criticize Uncle Tilly for using the term restorative justice. Well, hello, let me use it. There is a need for restorative justice in this country. Our supporters have been disadvantaged for too long and have been left out of that table, that dining table, that breakfast table, right? That lunch table, that supper table. And it reminds me of slavery time, where you had a lot of the hard workers in the field, slaves, having to stay out and look at the people dining, eating, drinking from their labor, right? That is exactly what it reminds me of. I am simply saying that our supporters need to feel the benefits directly. In some instances, indirectly, but directly. And that's very important. The government is performing well, excellently, but we cannot forget history. We have to be able to connect. You see, I'm a student of history. I can go back to 1999 election of NNP. In fact, I spoke at the stadium, the Den Stadium, as the youngest person, the youth person to speak at that rally in 1999 when NNP won all 15 seats. So I was around long, and I know about the politics. So some people believe that they're academically this and academically that. They know nothing about the politics and how to win. I have been around for quite a while, and I experienced NNP and I experienced NDC. And I could tell you, and I'm talking about NNP from 1999. Well, 1995, but specifically from 1999, come all the way up. And NNP of 2008. Sorry, NDC of 2008. And NDC also of 2003, when they almost won the election because of a couple votes, I think 6 or 7 votes in Carriacou. They lost. So we have to be very careful where that is concerned. We have to learn from history. In 2008, our supporters were disregarded. Our supporters were left out because we usher in change in terms of ministries, departments, and across the board. In fact, there were, in different constituencies, an outreach office where there was no political person running it. The ministry running this outreach office. So if you want to walk, you just go into the outreach office, put your name, and somebody inside there just giving you a walk. No political person. So the NDC supporters who wanted a walk, they were not even considered. Right? They should have been prioritized. They should have been prioritized, you know, during the carnival. Because I am not the kind of person to push up for to go to any VIP this or VIP that. That's not me, right? I don't believe in that. That's just my position. So I went to a particular event, and there was this VIP section, right, during Carnival. That's VIP. And I'm talking about road events. I'm not talking about some indoor thing. But there was a VIP section for ministers this and ministers that and who close to them and so on. So, you know, a minister partner of mine hailed me up. He said, "Hey, Kem Jones was saying," you know, he looked down because I was down on the ground. You know, I'm a ground dove. I'm a simple guy, you know, simple guy. So he hailed me up and he said, "Hey, well, come and check me now." So, you know, VIP, I know VIP pass, no VIP thing, and you gotta get this pink thing and so on. And you have 2 police officers at the door, at the step way and so on. So I said, well, okay, you call me, let me come up and give you a bounce and give you a chill and go back down. Well, when I reached this, well, Kem Jones, your name not on the list, right? Your name not on the list, and you're not a VIP, right? To be up on the list, up to be on this upper flow. You understand the point? And then I said to myself, okay, all right, but you know, you being up there, who caused you to be up there? We the people? We the supporters who caused you to be up there? But eventually, you know, I called the same soldier and he said, well, allow Kem to come in. Right? So I just went there briefly, maybe for about 30 seconds, and then I left. Because that's not my kind of thing. I'm grounded, I'm rooted, I'm rooted with the people. Right? But there comes a time that you have to kind of reflect on these things, you know. Excuse me. And say to yourself, but this thinking that this VIP style thinking, it's just temporary, yeah? And it could land you into problems, right? And there are a lot of people who have been key players throughout, right? They may not be Dr. this and Dr. that and Mr. this and Mr. that, but in reality, they're looking on. They're looking on and saying, okay, if we have to go there and bust our tail to make you live good, to make you enjoy the VIP, to make you and your family live all okay, then what is in it for me, or what is in it for we, the foot soldiers? What is in it for we, the supporters? People tend to reflect and think about these things. Huh? Don't fool yourself. We are human beings. We are human beings. Huh? And don't get it wrong. I am a very simple person. I don't believe in this highty-tighty life and all that kind of stuff. I don't believe in that. That's not me. I believe politics is about people, and politics is grassroots. You have to be able to connect, because as I look at the many things that the government is doing, and still for all the NNP supporters remain NNP, and they're the main beneficiaries of those different programs. But our supporters, right, we need them to come out to all our events. We need them, particularly on election day, to come out and vote. So we have to start targeting with all these different initiatives and programs and so on, targeted towards our supporters too, directly so. Of course, and we have to start to create a percentage, 70-30, so we're not leaving the other people out. But in every 10 where you have a program or an initiative or something, 7 should be your people benefiting and 3 the others, because there is a need for a radical approach to get restorative justice for our supporters in particular. It's important, and that is what is required as we move forward into the next year, third year, fourth year, and fifth year. We have to start targeting, because you see, if you play into nice in the politics, you'll get bite up. The minute time you're playing too nice and trying to be fair and trying to be, you'll get bite up, because your supporters are not dunce. The NDC supporters are pretty much educated. They can reason. They're analytical. They could think. They're independent somewhat. So you're dealing with a people who are far more knowledge-based. Don't play with that, you know. The reason why this program, the program that I do, is still very popular, and the base of the NDC continues to listen to this program every morning and every night, and those in the diaspora listen to this program religiously. In fact, yesterday, Andy Williams, the Honorable Andy Williams, is out there in Canada. He called me via video because the people in Canada where he was, they asking about Kem Jones, right? So he, being the typical politician, my good partner, called me on video and had me speak to a lot of them, right? And they're out there because that is the source of information. It comes from me and from here. But the reason why they constantly listen to the program is because this program is second to none, and it's of a higher reasoning, a higher consciousness, and you can learn. You can get smarter on this program. You can become more intellectually sound on this program. You can become brighter on this program, unlike the other programs. So you have to understand your demographic. You have to understand the people you're dealing with. The NDC supporters out there, they're not no walkover, and they're bright, they're sharp, and they have held firmly with me for the last straight. And every single thing that I do turn out to be successful, you know. Don't matter if I say I'm going up to Carrick on a boat, it's successful. Don't matter if I say we're going on protest, we're going to do a demonstration, it's successful. Distribution of hampers, it's successful. Event at Wildwoods Park, it's successful. Anything, every living thing, anything that I do, it is successful. Why? And the people who are supporting what I do are NDC supporters, or those who are in the middle, but generally speaking, are NDC supporters. So I understand, clearly the demographic, and I understand the people who I'm dealing with. I am communicating and reaching the 30,000 or so NDC hardcore supporters, NDC supporters, and NDC sympathizers on a daily basis. So I understand the demographic, and I want those in power, the ministers and so on, to understand who they're dealing with. You have the NNP and you have the NDC. And you have to go deeper to understand your NDC support. There are some NNP supporters who, you know, they're on the fence. If you work well with them, you could get them to turn. You could get them to support you. But generally speaking, those NNP supporters can't change. They might pretend because they want position, they want certain things, they want to grab, they want to get certain things. Because they're very good at pretending. They're very good at you know, being that lizard that would, you know, go on something green and turn green, go on something yellow and turn yellow, go on something brown and just turn brown. Yeah, those NNP supporters, they are very good at that. So I am simply saying there is a need to understand your supporters and make sure, do not for 1 minute believe that your supporters don't need anything. Because there is this mindset, there is this notion out there that the only set of people who need are NNP supporters. Because they are known to be needy and they are known to be grabby and greedy. Right? Don't make that mistake. You must understand that you have NDC supporters who are in need. Also, I get calls on a regular basis from NDC supporters who are in need for road work, need of material assistance, need of a promotion within the police force or the prison, need of a piece of road in the community that needs to be fixed or drained, need some job, some opportunity. Don't get confused. Folks, don't get confused. There is this notion, and we have to break that. There is this belief that the NDC supporters, they don't need anything. But there are a lot of NDC supporters who need, and that's a conversation that we must continue, you know. That conversation, that this mindset that our supporters don't need anything, so we're good to go. So all the people who are benefiting is just NNP. We got to change that mindset forthwith, immediately. We have to look for our supporters and our people. Don't try to be too nice. And that is why after the election of 2008, 2013, when NDC lost the election, do you know the majority of those who were ministers in government, they couldn't go to nobody and ask them for nothing to support nothing that they're doing in the constituency? Friends, they had nobody that they could do and say, well, look, I want to distribute some school book supply and so on, bags and stationery stuff and so on. I want you to, you know, give me some support because when I was in government, you know, I never turned back on you. I never, you know. And the person will say, come quickly. Look at $10,000, buy some bags, buy some school supplies, and, you know, join in with what you have. Those NDC ministers and so on, well, they were past ministers and so on, and senior people within the NDC, they couldn't go to nobody and ask them for nothing because they never build a relationship with their supporters in the business community, right? And generally, you have to start identifying your supporters within the business community and how you can support them to make sure that they're successful. So if you're not there today or tomorrow, you can approach them and they will gladly assist you. Don't fool yourself. Look at what's happening now with the NNP. They're out of power and they could still go to certain business community, business people and so on, and get them to support them with all kind of different initiatives. I'm telling you. Why? Because they look for their people when they're in power, in the business community, in the religious community, in the public service, in everything. Don't fool yourself. Don't fool yourself. I was able for 9 years to do this program, right? with the assistance of NDC supporters or people who are anti-government, anti-NNP, right? The anti-NNP, where they were supporting this program and they still support this program up to this day, right? Consistently so, every month. And when the COVID strike, those NDC candidates and other people, they were not able to pull the kind of food hampers and support like I was able to do. They were not. I mean, over time, you know, I gave people that inner strength and courage so that they were able to understand the whole thing. But what I was able to get from people, they were not able to do it. When I did that protest, I remember some years ago, I was able to get how much bus? It was 20 or 30, how much buses? A lot of buses to mobilize and organize people to come down and do the protest and the demonstration and so on. You remember that? When NDC tried it, very few people show up, you know. Very few people showed up because the supporters, they were, you understand the point? Lest we forget these things, you know. So we have to support our people to make sure that they're happy, to make sure that they're comfortable, to make sure that they're okay. That's important. So you have to marry government with our party politics to make sure that our supporters are taken care of. Right? That's very, very, very important. The level of understanding must be there. It's not that you're corrupt. It's not that you this and you that, you know. But ultimately, the people who are going to guarantee you victory in the next election will be your supporters and those who you're able to win over between you being elected the last time to the next election, and those in the middle. Those in the middle, because some people fooling themselves to believe that a lot of NNP voted for NDC. All your lie, all your damn lie. All your lie, they misled you. They mess you up. In 2008 to 2013, a lot of NDC supporters became angry, disgruntled, upset with the performance of the NDC during 2008-2013, and they did not go out and vote. But that doesn't mean to say that they voted for NNP. No, they just did not go out and vote. So you didn't get the amount of people to vote for you. Right? But between 2013 and 2022, we were able, and I take some credit for that, to show our supporters who did not go out and vote in 2013, that election, when NNP won all 15. I was able to show them that we could win. We could win this election. The election is winnable and things will be different. So I was able over the 9 years to work with them with the programming and the different outreach to get them to that place where they were confident. You know, I boost their morale and their inner strength and so on. It's winnable. When you're down, I come on and I say it's winnable. We could do it. So the strategy worked. And a lot of these people now came out from the sideline, came out from not going out and vote, and voted for the NDC. But they were predominantly NDC supporters. 1 or 2. NNP voted for the NDC. 1 or 2. Right? At 2% or 3%. In some instances, when the new folks came on board, right, with the NDC, they had a lot of NNP friends and so on. So when they came on board, the NNP friends, some of the NNP friends changed towards supporting them personally. So you had a number of people in that area, you know, come over, which is fair. And it's expected, right? Because a lot of new people were roped in. So I am saying, do not fool yourself to believe that all of these people, a lot of NNP, you're joking. Those NNP went out and they voted for NNP. That is why they got 28,000 or so votes. Don't fool yourself, you know. They got almost 29,000 people to vote for them, you know. The NNP, you know. NDC got 33,000 people to vote for them. But don't fool yourself. Those NNP supporters went out and they voted for their party. But a lot of them now pretending and playing as though they voted for you and they voted for you. They damn lie, they lie. They never voted for you. They want position now, they run the rank and so on. And some of those guys that get in all the big work and so on, you know, they might be doctor this and this and that and this and that. Let me tell you this, these people will not get you any additional vote. Because many a times when they come from work, the electric gate opens when they get home and it locks when they get when they get inside, and they don't even know their neighbors. What is the neighbor name, right? And the needs of the neighbors and so on. They don't know and they don't care, right? Don't forget that. All them big brain people and they Mr. this and Mr. that and Mr. this and Mr. that. I'm telling you, you got to get this thing right. They cannot get you any votes, any additional votes. They can't. They cannot make you win anything extra. They don't have what it takes. They don't have the rapport. They don't have the relationship with ordinary people and with your supporters. They don't. But they get all the big work and so on and so forth because they, you know, master degree this, doctorate this, bachelor this, and all kind of this, right? And this and this and this. But when it boils down to actual votes, it's not that. No, you're joking or what? These people don't even know that they're neighbors. You ask them, who are your neighbors? Who are the people you live in close by? They can't even tell you. They don't even know who they support or who they don't support. Sometimes, in some, their children in their house, not even voting for you. But they have a big working something and they're big director on some board and big this and big that. In some cases, their children who of age to vote, not even voting for you, not even voting for their father, their mother, who get a big work because the NDC in power. I'm telling you. But you know, Kem Jones, using me as an example, my family at home and around, if they even open their mouth and say they're not supporting NDC, we done, we finish. If my lady inside my house here, where I live, tell me, she wake up one morning and tell me she voting for NNP, I done with her, you know. We finish, you know, immediately, you know. Immediately, we finish, you know. I'm telling you, if my mother or my sister tell me that they're supporting NNP, I'm done with them, you know. That is my position. And I must do everything in my power to cause them to reach to that place where they will forever support the NDC, because the NDC is good for Grenada. I'm very, very firm where that is concerned. But the person with the doctor this and the master's degree this and they get the big work and the big work, they can't talk to their children. They can't even persuade them to vote for NDC. They can't. They cannot. I'm telling you, I'm being real with you. They cannot. They don't have what it takes. Much less their neighbors, much less the people around them. It's the reality. And I'm telling you it as is. So we can wake up and understand the connection between the government and the party and our party supporters and our supporters. That's important. Very important. So we could easily get carried away, you know, because you see them guys and them who, because look, for example, I'm out here and you're out there fighting the fight morning, night, every day. Consistently so. You are out there, you would give to this program, give to me, and you don't want any. There are people who support what I do because they want NDC to remain in power. They don't want NNP to come back in power. So they support this program because they believe that with this program, it will guarantee that NDC will remain in power. And with your humble servant out here fighting the fight, it will guarantee that. So they support because they really want the NDC to succeed, remain in power, and they don't want the NNP to come back in power, period. And there are those who just love what I am doing. They love what Kem Jones doing, and they're going to support what Kem Jones doing throughout. They love what he's doing, and they understand that I'm genuine, not 1 foot in the water and 1 foot on the show. I'm in 100%, right? So there are people like that who are out there, they just love that young man. They love the fact that he's bold enough to come out and explain these things. He's able to articulate right and get it to the point. They're learning. There are people like that. But generally speaking, the folks who support what I do, They're NDC folks, NDC people, home and abroad, or those who just love the most honorable Deacon Mitchell and the team, right? So they support the initiatives and everything that I do. And they want the government to succeed. And that is important. So I am simply saying we have to reach to that place where we marry government with party operations. You know, I never forget when NNP was in power. Nearly all their programs, the people who were in control of those programs were party hawks, were NNP supporters, and they were making sure that their supporters get the work and get the opportunity. I could recall vividly, you see that road walk? You watching there? You know who used to call people and tell them they get road walk in the different villages? The NNP supporters, the key foot soldiers who were operatives of the NNP in the different constituencies. They were the ones calling the people and say, well, you down for a fortnight and you're working with that person, you're working with that person, you know. Because remember when the NNP came into power, they scrapped the outreach office and they put everything back into the constituency office. Don't forget that. The people who are in charge of the housing program or the housing brigade and all these different things, NNP, the folks who are in charge of the farm labor program, NNP, even the seed program from the ministry point of view, go all down in the different constituencies. Who are in charge? Key NNP operatives, the majority of them, key NNP operatives, to make sure that their people get and make sure that there are people in place. And any initiative, any program, NNP, that is what they make sure. They put their people there. That's the politics. Right? That's something that we need to take note of. We need to take note of that. When the hotels and them come here to develop and build and so on, the people who are associated with those developers or NNP people, they make sure they put their people. In fact, there was one who came from being a mechanica, to some big boy with the Chinese and big boy with this project. And when you ask the guy, you say, well, where you get that skill set from? All of a sudden on the NNP, you know, they make sure that he was placed there, key man in all the different projects. They make sure that their people were positioned with those different projects and so on. Because when they need a carpenter or a mason, or they need that, they get in their people. I mean, you may say, well, we don't want Grenada to be like that. But to usher in transformation and change, it has to be gradually. It has to be gradual. Because between now and the election, not much will change where that is concerned. Things are going to happen, but not much. So you have to look for your people and make sure your people are given the kind of support that they deserve. Very important. You remember when that CES program came out and I really catch up what's going on? I came on that program here and I spoke for about weeks, calling on the government, calling on the NDC to look for their people, you know, and make sure that their people get. I mean, it was kind of late coming down when I really catch up what was going on. And it goes for all different programs. The farm labor program, right? The debushing program, the housing assistance program, the seed program, the wash program where you're building bathrooms and so on, the school uniform and school supplies program, all the different programs, right? You need to make sure that you have key people, our people in place, to look for our people, to make sure that they're taken care of. And that is what the politics dictates. It's what it is. We can't kowtow around it and play as though we don't know. Because you cannot usher in a similar thing like what the NDC between 2008 to 2013 usher in. And you saw what happened ultimately. It has to be different. And you have to be strategic. You have to be smart enough to look for your people and take care of your people. and make sure that they're happy. Because with all these different things that the NDC is doing, all the great things that they're doing, just go and speak to the NDC supporters and you would get the feedback from them. We have to look for our people. We have to look for our people. Right? That's key. Because the government is powerful, but we have to marry good performance from government to our party and the politics on the ground. We have to look for our supporters and our people. That's important. So, folks, I want to say to you, we have to remain focused. We have to understand that the NNP is out there to mislead you, and they will not stop. Since the election and the victory, I came on air and I said, do not believe the NNP will go to sleep and allow the NDC to peacefully govern and bring prosperity and bring opportunities to our people. That would not happen. There will always be a stumbling block in the way of progress and development and transformation. I coined them obstructionists. And I know why I coined them obstructionists, because that is who they are. And they will always be obstructionists. They don't want prosperity for you. They don't want good health care for you. They don't want a good education system for you. They don't want better job opportunities and conditions, and they don't want those things for you. The NNP will forever be obstructionists. So remaining focused means that we need to be knowledgeable, understand the truth, get the information, and the information is to filtering down to our foot soldiers and our ordinary people so that they can defend our party, promote our party, defend our government, and promote our government. That's important. So we have to remain focused. And it's not easy. It would not be easy. Governance will never be easy. Because as long as you have somebody who's hungry for your position, you would always have a fight. You understand the point? You would always have a fight. NNP, they want what NDC has. They want power, and they have a lot of time on their hand, and they still have a lot of money. Don't fool yourself. Don't fool yourself. All right? Remember, country before party, we understand that. We're all for Grenada. We're all for the development of the country. But we need to marry the performance of government with our party politics and the grassroots to make sure that our people are okay. I want to wish you all the best. Have a wonderful, wonderful day. Take good care. I'll be back with you tonight, God's willing, from 8 in the p.m. until 9. 1 hour in the morning, 1 during the night. This morning, I'm going kind of a little over because we're going on to 2 hours for this morning. But sometimes it's like that because giving you that information is important to me. And what keeps me coming on every morning, coming on every night, is because I want the NDC to succeed. I want the NDC to break that curse of 1 term and make 3 terms straight to seriously transform Grenada, Carriacou, and PT Martinique. That's important. So I want to wish you all this. And I believe in the most honorable Deacon Mitchell and his team, and I'm firmly behind them because I want them to succeed. I want them to really be able to transform this country. I know you're going to take some time. You're going to take some hard work. You're going to take a paradigm shift. Mindset, thinking and everything like that. But we could do it. So take good care. Have a wonderful day. I'll be back with you tonight in the hub, starting from 8 in the p.m. now.
Was a